Question 1. Why should a magnesium ribbon be cleaned before burning in air? Answer. Magnesium is very reactive metal. When stored, it reacts with oxygen to form a layer, magnesium oxide, on its surface. This layer of magnesium oxide is quite stable and prevents further reaction of magnesium with oxygen. The magnesium ribbon is cleaned by sandpaper to remove this layer so that the underlying metal can be exposed into air. Question 2. Write the balanced equation for the following chemical reaction. First, hydrogen plus chlorine arrow hydrogen chloride. First, H2G plus Cl2G arrow 2HClG. Second, barium chloride plus ammonium sulfate arrow barium sulfate plus ammonium chloride. Second, 3BaCl2S plus Al2SO4 3S arrow 3BaSO4 S plus 2AlCl3 4. Third, sodium plus water arrow sodium hydroxide plus hydrogen. Third, 2NaS plus 2H2O L arrow 2NaOH AQ plus H2G. Question 3. Write a balanced chemical equation based state symbols for the following reactions. First, solutions of barium chloride and sodium sulfate in water react to give insoluble barium sulfate and the solution or sodium chloride. First, BaCl2AQ plus Na2SO4AQ arrow BaSO4S plus 2 NaClAQ. Second, sodium hydroxide solution in water reacts with hydrochloric acid solution in water to produce sodium chloride solution and water. Answer: NaOH plus HClAQ arrow NaClAQ plus H2O. Question 1. A solution of a substance X is used for whitewashing. First name the substance X and write its formula. Second, write the reaction of the substance X named in one above with water. First, the substance X is calcium oxide. Its chemical formula is CaO. Second, calcium oxide reacts vigorously with water to form calcium hydroxide, a slagged lime. CaOS plus H2O calcium oxide, quicklime. H2O water. Arrow CaO OH twice AQ, calcium hydroxide, slag lime. Question 2. Why is the amount of gas collected in one of the test tube in activity 1.7 double of the amount collected in the other? Name this gas. Answer. Water H2O contains 2 parts hydrogen and 1 part oxygen. Therefore, the amount of hydrogen and oxygen produced during electrolysis of water is in a 2:1 ratio. During electrolysis, since hydrogen goes to one test tube and oxygen goes to another, the the amount of gas collected in one of the test tubes is double of the amount collected in the other. Question 1. Why does the color of carbon sulfate solution change when an iron nail is dipped in it? Answer. When an iron nail is placed in a copper sulfate solution, iron displaces copper from copper sulfate solution, forming iron sulfate, which is green in color. Fes iron plus CuSO4Aq copper sulfate blue color. Arrow FeSO4Aq iron sulfate green color plus Cus copper. Therefore, the blue color of copper sulfate solution fades and green color appears. Question 2. Give an example of a double displacement reaction other than the one given in activity 1.10. Answer. Sodium carbonate reacts with calcium chloride to form calcium carbonate and sodium chloride. Na2CO3Aq sodium carbonate plus CaCl2Aq calcium chloride. Arrow CaCO3 yes calcium carbonate plus 2NaClAq sodium chloride. In this reaction, sodium carbonate and calcium chloride exchange ions to form two new compounds, and it is a double displacement reaction. Question 3. Identify the substances that are oxidized and the substances that are reduced in the following reaction. 4Na S plus O2 G arrow 2Na2 OAS. Second, CuO plus H2 G arrow CuCs plus H2OL. Answer. Sodium Na is oxidized as it gains oxygen and oxygen gets reduced. Second, copper oxide CuO is reduced to copper Cu while hydrogen H2 gets oxidized to water H2O. Question 1. Which of the which of the statements about the reaction below are incorrect? 2 PbOS plus Cs arrow 2 PbS plus CO2G. Lead is getting reduced, carbon dioxide is getting oxidized, carbon is getting oxidized, lead oxide is getting reduced. A answer A and B, second A and C, third A, B and C, four all. Answer A and B is correct. Question 2. Fe2O3 plus 2Al arrow Al2O3 plus 2Fe. The above reaction is an example of a combination reaction, double displacement reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction. Answer: the given reaction is an example of a displacement reaction. Question 3. What happens when dilute hydrochloric acid is added to iron filings? Tick the correct answer. Hydrogen gas and iron chloride are produced. Chlorine gas and iron hydroxide are produced. No reaction takes place. Iron, salt, and water are produced. Answer: A. Hydrogen gas and iron chloride are produced. The reaction is as follows: FeS plus 2 HClAq arrow FeCl2aq plus CH2 arrow gas. E arrow indicates gas. Question 4. What is a balanced chemical equation? Why should chemical equations be balanced? Answer: a reaction which has an equation equal number of atoms of all the elements on both sides of the chemical equation is called a balanced chemical equation. The law of conservation of mass states that mass can neither be created nor destroyed. Hence, in a chemical reaction, the total mass of reactants should be equal to the total mass of the products. It means that the total number of atoms of each element should be equal on both sides of a chemical equation. Hence, it is for this reason that chemical equations should be balanced. Question 5. Translate the following statements into chemical equations and then balance them. Hydrogen gas combines with nitrogen to form ammonia. Hydrogen 3 H2G plus N2G arrow 2NH3G. B. Hydrogen sulfide gas bonds in air to give water and sulfur dioxide. 2 H2SG plus 3O2G arrow 2H2O L plus 2SO2G. 3 barium chloride react with ammonium sulfate to give ammonium chloride and a precipitate of barium sulfate. 3 BaCl2aq plus Al2SO4 triaq arrow 2 AlCl3aq plus 3 BaSO4. Yes. Potassium metal react with water to give potassium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Answer 2K S plus 2H2O L arrow 2K OH AQ plus H2G. Question 6. Balance the following chemical equation. HNO3 plus CaOH twice arrow CaNO3 twice plus H2O. Answer 2. HNO3 plus CaOH twice arrow CaNO3 twice plus 2H2O. NaOH plus H2SO4 Na2SO4 plus H2O. 2 NaOH plus H2SO4 arrow Na2SO4 plus 2H2O. NaCl plus AgNO3 arrow AgCl plus NaNO3. NaCl plus AgNO3 arrow AgCl plus NaNO3. BaCl2 plus H2SO4 arrow BaSO4 plus HCl. BaCl2 plus H2SO4 arrow BaSO4 plus 2HCl. Question 7. Write the balanced chemical equation for the following reaction. Calcium hydroxide plus carbon dioxide arrow calcium carbonate plus water. CaOH twice plus CO2 arrow CaCO3 plus H2O. Zinc plus silver nitrate arrow zinc nitrate plus silver. Zn plus 2AgNO3 arrow ZnNO3 twice plus 2Ag. Aluminum plus copper chloride arrow aluminum chloride plus copper. 2Al plus 3Cu Cl2 arrow 2Al Cl3 plus 3Cu. Barium chloride plus potassium sulfate arrow barium sulfate plus potassium chloride. BaCl2 4 K2SO4 arrow BaSO4 plus 2KCl. Question 8. Write the balanced chemical equation for the following and identify the type of reaction. In each case, potassium bromide Aq plus barium iodide Aq, potassium iodide Aq, barium bromide S. 2 KBr Aq plus Bai 2 Aq arrow 2 Ki Aq plus Ba Br2S double displacement reaction. B zinc carbonate S arrow zinc oxide S plus carbon dioxide Eg. Zn CO3S arrow ZnOS plus CO2G decomposition reaction. C hydrogen G plus chlorine G arrow hydrogen chloride G. H2G plus Cl2G arrow 2HClG combination reaction. Magnesium Gs plus hydrochloric acid Aq arrow magnesium chloride Aq plus hydrogen G. Mg plus 2HCl arrow MgCl 2H2. H2G displacement reaction. Question 9. Question 9. What does one mean by exothermic and endothermic reaction? Give example. Answer. Chemical reaction that release energy in the form of heat, light or sound are called exothermic reaction. Example, mixture of sodium and chlorine to yield stable salt. NaS plus half Cl2S aero NaCl S plus 411 kJ of energy. In other words, combination reactions are exothermic reactions that absorb energy or require energy in order to proceed are called endothermic reaction. For example, in the process of photosynthesis, plants use the energy from the sun to convert carbon dioxide and water to glucose and oxygen. 6CO2 G plus 6H2OL sunlight 6H12O6 AQ plus 6O2 G glucose. Question 10. Why is respiration considered an exothermic reaction? Explain. Answer. Energy is required to support life. Energy in our body is obtained from the food we eat. During digestion, large molecules of food are broken down into simpler substances such as glucose. Glucose combines with oxygen in the cells and provides energy. The special names of this combustion reaction is respiration, since energy is released in the whole process. It is an exothermic process. C6H12O6 AQ glucose plus 6O2G oxygen, aero 6CO2G carbon dioxide plus 6H2O Al plus energy. Question 11. Why are decomposition reactions called the opposite of combination reaction? Right. Equation for these reactions. Answer. Decomposition reactions are those in which a compound breaks down to form two or more substances. These reactions require a source of energy to proceed. Thus, they are the exact opposite of combination reaction, in which two or more substances combine to give a new substance with the release of energy. Decomposition reaction: Ab plus energy, aero A plus B, 2H2O L electrolysis 2H2 G plus O2 G. Combination reaction: A plus B aero Ab plus energy, 2H2 G plus O2 G aero 2H2O L plus energy. Question 12. Write one equation each for decomposition reaction where energy is supplied in the form of heat, light, or electricity. Answer: thermal decomposition. Two FeSO4 as ferrous sulfate. heat Fe2O3s ferric oxide plus CO2G sulfur dioxide SO3G sulfur trioxide. Decomposition by light 2AgClS light 2Ags silver chloride 2Ags silver Cl2G chlorine. C. Decomposition by electricity 2Al2O3 Aq aluminum oxide electricity 4Als aluminum 3O2G oxygen. Question 13. What is the difference between displacement and double displacement reaction? Write equation for this reaction. Answer. In a displacement reaction, a more reactive element replaces a less reactive element from a compound. A plus Bx arrow Ax plus B, where A is more reactive than B. In a double displacement reaction, two atoms or a group of atoms switch places to form new compounds. AB plus CD arrow AD plus CB. For example, displacement reaction CuSO4Aq plus Zn S arrow Zn SO4Aq plus Cus. Double displacement reaction. Na2 Na2SO4Aq plus BaCl2Aq arrow BaSO4 plus 2 NaCl. Question 14. In the refining of silver, the recovery of silver from silver nitrate solution involved displacement by copper metal. Write down the reaction involved. 2 AgNO3Aq plus Cu silver nitrate copper arrow CuNO3 twice Aq copper nitrate plus 2 Ags silver. Question 15. What do you mean by a precipitation reaction? Explain by giving example. Answer. A reaction in which an insoluble solid called precipitate is formed is called a precipitation reaction. For example, Na2CO3Aq sodium carbonate plus CaCl2Aq calcium chloride arrow CaCO3 yes calcium carbonate plus 2NaClAq sodium chloride. In this reaction, calcium carbonate is obtained as a precipitate, hence it is a precipitation reaction. Another example of precipitation reaction is Na2SO4Aq plus BaCl2Aq sodium sulfate barium chloride arrow BaSO4S barium sulfate plus 2NaClAq sodium chloride. In this reaction, barium sulfate is obtained as a precipitate. Question 16. Explain the following in terms of gain or loss of oxygen with two examples each. Oxidation, reduction. Answer. Oxidation is the gain of oxygen. For example, CO2 plus H2, arrow CO plus H2O. Addition of oxygen, oxidation. 2 Cu plus O2 arrow 2 CuO gain of oxygen oxidation. In equation 1, H2 is oxidized to H2O, and in equation 2, Cu is oxidized to CuO. Reduction is the loss of oxygen. For example, CO2 plus H2, removal of oxygen, arrow CO plus H2O. Second, CuO plus H2O, heat Cu plus H2O, loss of oxygen reduction. In equation 1, CO2 is reduced to CO, and in equation 2, CuO is reduced to Cu. Question 17. A shiny brown colored displacement element, a shiny brown colored element acts on heating in air becomes black in color. Name the Name the element X and the black colored compound formed. Answer. X is copper Cu and the black colored compound formed is copper oxide CuO. The equation of the reaction involved on heating copper is given below. Two Cu plus O2, shiny brown in color. Heat 2CuO, black in color. Question 18. Why do we apply paint on iron articles? Answer. Iron articles are painted because it prevents them from rusting when painted. The contact of iron articles from moisture and air is cut off, hence rusting is prevented there. Presence is essential for rusting to take place. Question 19. Oil and fats containing food items are flushed with nitrogen. Why? Answer. Nitrogen is an inert gas and does not easily react with these substances. On the other hand, oxygen reacts with food substances and makes them rancid. Thus, bags used in packing food items are flushed with nitrogen gas to remove oxygen inside the pack. When oxygen is not present inside the pack, rancidity of oil and fat containing food items is avoided. Question 20. Explain the following terms with one example is corrosion, rancidity. Answer. Corrosion. Corrosion is defined as a process where materials, usually metals, deteriorate as a result of a chemical reaction with air, moisture, chemicals, etc. For example, iron in the presence of moisture reacts with oxygen to form hydrated iron oxide, 4Fe plus 3O2 plus NH2O, arrow 2Fe 2O3 NH2O, hydrated iron oxide. This hydrated iron oxide is rust. B. Rancidity, the process of oxidation of fat and oils that can be easily noticed by the change in taste and smell is known as rancidity. For example, the taste and smell of butter changes when kept for long. Rancidity can be avoided by storing food in airtight containers, storing food in refrigerators, adding antioxidants, storing food in an environment of nitrogen. Like, share, comment this video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe now this channel.